Well, hello and hello, and for the third time, the lucky third time, hello. Welcome to the most complete tarot reading on the internet. This podcast is more than simply a tarot reading, however, it is a metaphysical package. Bunch of parts and pieces cobbled together to help create a complete picture of the energy frequency in the reading. Now, the essential point, obviously, is to help you to manifest from your spirit. Manifesting creates your life. Manifesting is your kryptonite. It allows you to have both the independence and responsibility to follow your spiritual destiny in this lifetime. We all come here with a different spiritual destiny. Problem is, what you understood in the 5D does not translate well to the 3D. And so there's a conflict. But you need to follow your spiritual destiny. Not everyone is meant to be rich, to be handsome, to be famous, to be good looking, to be whatever the case. Not meant that. And in the 5D, it made sense to you. Again, going into the 3D, it doesn't always fit or feel like it's fitting. So you have to find your spiritual destiny. Because if you don't, life becomes like walking on a treadmill. You're moving, sometimes running. You're not getting anywhere. So the focus for today is overstaying your welcome, or time to go. Time to go. Wherever you are in your life at this point, it's time to change scene. Very difficult, because people, and I don't care how young they are, the young people like to kind of run off their mouth and go, well, you old people are not flexible. Well, you get comfortable with your own shit too, and when that changes, you're not so comfortable. And the older you get, 30s, 40s, 50s, you know what? You get more and more comfortable. That's the problem. So, the Tao Manifesting Tarot reading is meant to inspire you to make your life movie inside your head, not from some outside computer, smartphone, AI, none of that. If it comes from the outside into you, it actually steals your power. It weakens you. You get comfortable with not having to think, not having to take responsibility. Well, AI told me. That's not how manifesting works. You are the real power. You need to create from your spirit, not some electronic device, because tarot from you is the vehicle for your transformation. So to help, I use tarot as the destination and the focus of the reading. This is where you're headed. The tarot tells you the frequency, the energy, right? But I also use numerology and astrology. Tarot, and I've done this for over 20 years, tarot is great at figuring out potential. It doesn't predict anything. For the 20 years that I've worked with it, I haven't seen myself or anybody else really predict worth a damn. But it's not intended for that. Tarot is meant to say, here is the energy, here is the frequency, now work to its potential. It is the numerology and the astrology, the cycles, the science of cycles. I've done those two for over 50 years. You can predict because life is cyclical. I'm going to get into that in a moment with a little part of the reading that I call the astro matrix, astrologic. We're going to talk about the astrology because the astrology is setting the dinner table and the tarot is the meal itself. That's why it's important, because depending where you find yourself in the geopolitical mix of the day, that will not change the energy of the tarot, but its expression will change. Okay? So using numerology, astrology together with tarot gives you a reading that you can see, hear, feel, touch, taste, sense. So let's begin with the foundational information in what I just alluded to, that is the astrologic portion. So today, I just mentioned a moment ago how history repeats. Let's go back to the year 1760, before the American Revolution. We find that the planets Saturn and Uranus were essentially where they are right now, in Aries. And that created a very interesting situation, because Saturn always gives focus and discipline. Uranus is the revolutionary planet. That's the surprise planet. You'll never know what to expect from Uranus. It'll come out, the information boom or whatever, and whew, it's off and running. And like a laser beam, Saturn's energy comes in and just tightens it. Just tightens it. And when they did this, Saturn and Uranus in very early degrees of Aries, we had the Industrial Revolution kicking into gear. What did that mean? Well, it affected the individual in part because Saturn and Uranus were in Aries. That's the me sign. So what it did was literally erode the individual like a laser beam. It just went to the heart of the individual. People left farms, went to cities. They went away from their farms to the cities because there was work, there were factories. All of that at the time seemed very good. Oh, well, geez, I don't have to work so hard. I'm not a farmer anymore. I can go into the city, get a paycheck, da-da-da-da-da-da. What you didn't see at the time was that in so doing, you lost your independence. You gave it up. You see, there's a price for everything. Everything. Whether you say yes, no, or even maybe. There's a price for everything. And for them to leave the farm where they could grow their own food, they had their own home, they had their independence, to come to the city and the factories for what they thought was, quote unquote, the easy paycheck, what that did was made them vulnerable because the people who owned the factories, who ran the cities, now had control. That's why you notice so much in the past couple of years with this vax fiasco. Who did they go after? Farmers. Because if the farmers are doing well, people will eat, people will keep a level of independence. They don't want that. They want to make your food in a laboratory. So this whole concept, oh, this is great, oh man, look at that, we can get off the farm, go to the city, get the easy paycheck, have the good life. Not so much. And the guy who promoted this was Adam Smith. He is very much regarded as the father of capitalism. I call him a fascist. Because in leaving the farms to go to the cities, to go to the factories, you gave up your independence, and we got a middle class that was now very useful to the rich. And we see how that's turned out since 1760. Pretty heavy duty, huh? 300 years. And look at where we're at right now. People don't have jobs. Robots are coming to replace them in every area of work. Eventually, nobody will have a job. Won't need to. You'll have 15-minute cities. They'll tell you what to eat. They'll put you on this artificial money system, all of which they control, and all because in 1760, or give or take, people decided to leave the farms, go to the cities, go to the factories, but they gave it all up. Didn't see it at the time, but they're paying the price for it now. And if we don't modify, if we don't change it quickly, then it's a sad, sad dystopian story. But it's up to us. It's up to us. 1760, there was the rise of the middle class, which became the tool for the rich. Middle class has now disappeared. Robots are replacing us. What do you think, huh? Let's go to the meme for the day. Talk about things that are dystopian. How about this, huh? We got two stories dealing with vaccine. First of all, congratulations to Pfizer for being in business for 175 years and not having cured a single disease. But they got these shots for you, and they say, oh, they're safe and effective. Oh, yeah. The numbers from scientists around the world are telling you it's not safe, it's not effective, and in fact, it's doing horrendous damage. Yesterday in the meme, we talked about how it's killing sperm and killing eggs, making people infertile. You know where that's going to lead. Then, added to that, we have a little information here about pediatricians getting paid to vaccinate. The way the system is set up, doctors are legally mandated to vaccinate, or they can lose their license and worse. So when we talk about Adam Smith, we talk about the rise of capitalism. The capitalists are the people who already have the money, who already have the things. So they're going to set the game. They're going to set the rules. And you try to live with that. Well, by going into the city to the factory jobs, you gave up your independence. You gave up any control you have. We see how that's ending up. Humans are being replaced by robots more and more every day. Not too far down the road, we're going to be infertile. That middle class that rose in the mid-1700s is now on the verge of completely disappearing. That's fascism. And in fact, to underline that fact, Meyer Rothschild in 1803, the guy who ran the Rothschild family, the evil pukes that they are, he said point blank, give me control of the economy of the country. You can do what you want with the government. And we see where that fits into our government these days. Money, 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 money. But that's all because we decided to leave the farms and go for the easy life in the city. And the middle class is now disappearing because of it. So let's go to the tarot. First card, Queen of Cups. Queen of Cups is intuitive, sensitive, loving. That's the kind of feeling that you need for yourself right now. I don't mean in a narcissistic way. I mean intuitive and sensitive, saying, look, I gave up a lot, or the people before me gave up a lot. I just fell into place. I did what I was told. It isn't working. It's not going to work. How am I going to change it? Well, first of all, I'm going to give myself a pat on the back. Number one, for realizing it's a scam. Number two, for beginning to do something to fix the situation. Next card up, Knight of Pentacles. Knight of Pentacles is realistic and practical. You realize, I can't save the world. I can't do everything. I got to try to, in my own little way, help make the world a little bit better place, beginning with me. Not selfishly, but maybe it's time for me to go back to the farm. Knights always bring gifts. If you have a positive attitude, the Queen of Cups, positive attitude, you'll be realistic, practical, and it'll improve your odds of success. The final card is Justice. That's really what we're looking for, truth and fairness. But we have to be truthful and fair with ourselves first. Had the people back in 1760, had the farmers who left the farm to go to the city, to go to the factories, had they been fair and honest with themselves and truthful with themselves, they never would have left. But they weren't. They weren't. And 300 years later, we're paying the price. Humanity is on the brink because people left the farm, gave up their independence willingly. Don't make the same mistake. This is a time in our lives, in our history, where we have to correct what happened back 300 years ago. So that's it for right now. Time is up for today. Got to get out of here and move on. Tomorrow you and I do more tarot. Between now and the time you and I do tarot, please like and subscribe. Very, very important to stay on the internet and give you this information. But again, in the meantime, peace and blessings.